Sanjay Jha has something to say about that. Sanjay, you heard from Hindol Sengupta, this effort that he's making to try and show that he's different from the rest, that he's cut from a different cloth, that this is a much larger spiritual quest. This is not day-to-day politics. That's now over. He's trying to rise above, infusing spirituality with politics. Sanjay Jha.
Rahul, two short points. Number one, I think after probably making the most crude, vulgar, outrageous and extremely obtuse speeches during these elections, I think Mr. Modi needs to do some meditation. Undoubtedly, I would agree with that. But to give him a spiritual halo as a result of making some of the most vulgar speeches and therefore requiring some downtime, as you called it, is making a mockery of the term spirituality. I do believe that Dr. Manmohan Singh actually has nailed it. Probably one of the most decent and distinguished men. He has called out the Prime Minister for lowering the stature of that august office for the kind of language he's used. From Mujra, Mangal Sutra, who's eating mutton, machli, and, the kind of, the reservation for the Muslims. I mean, what kind of language has he used during this campaign? Bhais ko chura lega. I mean, has anybody who's watching this program, I would like to tell them through the medium of your very popular show, Rahul, has anybody, whether they're a Bhakt, Mr. Modi supporters or secular liberals, has anybody heard any Prime Minister stoop to this level? I had somebody, by the way, Rahul, who wrote to me saying, why are you guys getting so uptight about Mr. Modi's rather preposterous and absurd speeches, atrocious as they may be? It is in the heat of the election. But Rahul, as we all know, these are speeches that are heard by millions of young people. And imagine what they think, that if the Prime Minister of a country can stoop so low, what does it mean for the political destiny of India? But there's a point I strongly object to what the previous panelist said. I mean, I can understand a lot of right-wing cheerleaders trying to, circumvent and distort history. But to call Modi as a disciple of Gandhi is like mocking the great father of the nation. I mean, this is a party which celebrates, many of its leaders definitely celebrate Nathuram Godse. They have talked about calling him a nationalist, as a true patriot. And there are leaders who have been members of parliament. We are not talking of some extreme right-wing fringe lunatic group, etc., etc. The second point, I mean, we all know history. We all know the way RSS inflamed the communal environment which led to Gandhiji's assassination. I mean, Sardar Patel said that himself. So why is anybody here believing that by trying to distort a conversation using, glib language or trying to use the post-truth and all kinds of, I would say, very clever circumlocution, can you really change the truth?
I'm going to give Hindol a very brief opportunity to respond to what you're saying. You're saying that, it's ridiculous to say that Narendra Modi is an apostle of Mahatma Gandhi. His party and what leaders in his party have said would prove the otherwise. Let Hindol respond very briefly to that.
It is sad to say that Sanjay Jha cannot go above the sort of, everyday quarreling that he does day in and day out. I am not interested in that sort of thing, and I'm not talking about that sort of thing. I am saying that in recognizing the value of Hindu spirituality as deeply embedded in the idea of the highest form of politics, Gandhiji was the first person in India, in the modern India, who understood this, and Narendra Modi understands that too. Among his generation of politicians or any other politician, the only person after Gandhi who understands that at its highest level, politics and spirituality in India, Hindu spirituality, are deeply enmeshed and intertwined in the hearts and minds of the people, and indeed in the way you do politics. There are two people who really understood this. One was Gandhi, the other is Modi. I am not talking about the kind of stuff Sanjay is talking about. He's happy and free to keep fighting those quarrels every day. But if you look at it from a historical perspective, it is impossible not to see the parallels. Narendra Modi has recognized from the life of Mahatma Gandhi that in order to present yourself as higher, as Rahul, you yourself was saying, as higher and above the dirt and muck of politics, and this is not to say that the dirt of muck in politics will not be handled at a day-to-day basis. But in order to take a higher stand at some point and to reinvent and reimagine himself, a deep sense of spirituality will have to be imbibed.
Okay.
And the optics of that is playing out. It played
Rahul,
out at
so
Kerala,
Rajat
it's
Sethi-
playing out at the Ram Temple, it's playing out today at Vivekananda Road.
Rajat Sethi, Sanjay Jha's quarrel with Hindol's argument is, look at the kind of campaign Prime Minister Modi ran. It was shrill in parts, highly aggressive. Sometimes, he also punched below the waist, and therefore if you do all of that, you can't suddenly at the end of the campaign say, I've risen above all of this.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you hear me, Rajat Sethi? Do you want to respond to that?
Yes, I can. Yeah. See, we are all analyzing it from political lenses. I don't think Prime Minister Modi is seeing an iota of politics in what he is doing. It is his way of, looking at milestones to ponder over what he has contributed and perhaps what he would eventually contribute over the next few years as he steps into the next role. His journey is his own personal journey, like for every seeker within Hinduism. He too is a seeker, and his path is through spiritual corridors, and he keeps choosing it. The problem with the opposition is that they don't, and a political grandstanding as such, that is their problem. That is the problem of the Congress party. It is their leader who chooses to go to Thailand for spiritual awakening. That is their problem. If they can't find any spiritual land within India, what does Modi have to do with all this? He did not say that to make a public statement that, see, I'm going to go there, get all your cameras over there. It is the media's problem that it is going to carry cameras there. It is him who has said that I need 48 hours of break. I want to go and meditate. What is the problem?
Okay.
In fact, he is giving a message to all Indians that all of us in our day-to-day lives should meditate. Meditate and ponder over what we have done right and what we have done wrong.
Let
so that we
Rashid
don't
Kidwai
commit those
respond to
mistakes.
that. This is
That's the
powerful
purification exercise.
political symbolism.
Unfortunately, Congress doesn't do that
In
purification
terms
exercise.
of the choices the Prime Minister has made. Somebody in the Congress may want to go scuba diving, somebody may want to go surfing, somebody may wish to go hiking, and that's fine too. This is the choice the Prime Minister has made. He must be respected for that. And he's also, as Rajat Sethi argues, sending a subconscious message to people. Think about this, going to meditate at a rock, being by yourself, is a good way to be. He's trying to set an example for Indian society.
Yeah, so Rahul, it is not unusual for political leaders to be embarking upon this kind of spiritual journey. Rahul Gandhi did it. He did this Mansarovar Yatra also. We must not forget that. A lot of people do it. Here, Mr. Modi is within his rights to be doing so. He's a Prime Minister of India. He's a Karm Yogi. Is he going to be, quiet for Maun Vrat for 2 days? Can he afford to do that? There are a lot of, political, international, domestic.
But he
so many
said he will
dimensions.
do that.
No,
From
no.
1:30
So I'm saying
tomorrow for 24 hours.
as a citizen, Rahul, we must think of this. There are going to be a lot of, I hope he manages to do it, but there are so many political, exigencies come up in domestic politics or international affairs that a Prime Minister of the country, I think, is better off not, pledging this kind of thing, that he's not going to speak for 48 hours or
But
more.
why is that your choice? It's his choice. He thinks he can do it.
He's just he's a Prime Minister. He has taken oath, of Constitution and office, and where he's, this is his spiritual part. So what I'm saying is, much that I would like him to, follow this Maun Vrat for 48 hours and more. But I think, the kind of politics we have, the kind of governance we have, I think, he needs to be very careful whether he'll be able to do it or not. And just one more point. See, the political aspect is, I think, exaggerated by the opposition also. This looks very high on, optics, but very low on substance. Can you imagine, and Rahul, you are very well traveled to this election, is it going to make any difference to the 57 Lok Sabha seats that that will go to polls? Tell me, please.
No, but he's not. That's the point that Rajat and Hindol are making, that he's not trying to impact the polls. He's doing this after the elections are over. He's saying, मेरे लिए खत्म हो गया भाई election. अब आपको
If
नहीं
he's
समझ
doing
में आ
it as
रहा.
a private citizen, then the camera should be off, and it should not be from Election Commission. It should be from the Prime Minister himself.
Okay.